Am I the a-hole for choosing my little sister over wife? I, 29 male, have been married to my wife, 29 female, for 4 years. I have a little sister, 10 female, who lives with my parents. 2 months ago, my parents tragically passed away in a car accident. It has been very tough for my sister and I, but we are managing. I am the only brother, so I decided to take in my little sister and be her guardian. So here comes the issue. My wife and I already decided that we did not want kids. When I told her, she refused and said she did not sign up to be a parent, and we had already decided that. I told her I understand, but life is unfair and sometimes things happen that force us to do things outside of our comfort zone because it is the morally right thing to do. She said that I should put her in foster care or for adoption. I shut down that completely and told her the brother is still alive, so that's not happening. We continued talking about this several times, but she would not change her mind. So I finally told her I am doing it whether she agrees or not. She can either accept this situation or we divorce. And if she decided to go the separation route, I understand, because I am the one who broke the agreement about kids. She started crying and said that she chooses the second option. My in-laws called me after my wife went back to their house, and they started berating me about how I am an a-hole and bad husband, and that a good husband will always choose his wife first. I did not reply until they said that their daughter's tears are more valuable than my sister. That got me pissed, so I told them to go F themselves and hung up the phone. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife to adopt my sister? Now for the top comments. At first, I was going with no a-holes here. But seriously, your wife suggesting you put your sister up for adoption or into foster care is just... I don't have the words. It's one thing to not want kids. It's another to be that heartless. It's great that you're taking your sister in, and I'm sure you'll find someone a lot better than your soon-to-be ex. Not stay home. Took the words out of my mouth, 100%. Seriously, the level of sheer selfishness and lack of empathy in that statement is absolutely mind-boggling. No one really signs up for this sort of thing. You just have to make the best you can of a horrible situation. I could not imagine being able to continue respecting a spouse who said something like that and stood behind it. I hope he was actually far more tactful than I think I would have been able to be, and I am also a child-free person by choice. Not stay home. I don't want kids either, but when it comes to the family we have already, I would never stop my significant other from helping his sisters. One of them is living with us right now because her dad hit her. It isn't what I wanted. I am super introverted, but she is family, and I was immediately ready to take her in. We all hope someone will be there for us if something awful happens. Your parents died, and she is telling you to put your sister in foster care? That is callous and horrible to me. Life is what it is. We can't have everything we want, and we do not abandon family. I hope this isn't real because it makes me so sad. Yes, take care for your sister. Exactly. It's not like he is taking in some random child. This is his family, not the same as having a child. Sure, he will have to raise her, but it's nowhere near the same as having your own child. His wife freaking sucks. No a-holes here. It's unfortunate that your wife will not cave, but also a right to choose to be childless. Good on you to step in for your sister. It sounds like it will be beneficial for both of you at this terrible time. I am so sorry for your loss. She can go into foster care or be put up for adoption. I hope his soon-to-be ex-wife is a huge one for saying that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for revoking my husband's access to my bank account? My husband and I have been married for 3 years. We have 2 separate bank accounts, but both of us know the information of each other's bank account. My husband is working a good job, gets a lot of money. I'm currently in pregnancy leave, but I also have a good job as an optometrist. I also have lots of savings in my bank account. Recently, I found out my husband got money out of my bank account, around $3,000 to lend to his brother. His brother has a job, but refuses to spend his own money and expects his mom and dad to provide for him while he spends money on games and stuff like that. Apparently, my brother-in-law owed some people $3,000, and despite the fact he had that amount in his own bank account, he asked my husband for money. My husband not only gave him money, but got my own savings from my own bank account without asking me first. When I found out, I confronted my husband. Then I went to his parents and brother and complained about me confronting him. My in-laws called me, and said I'm an entitled a-hole to make such a big deal over $3,000 since my parents are rich, and that amount is insignificant to me. They said their son needs it to pay off some loans, and I'm the a-hole for making my husband feel bad for helping out his brother. I revoked my husband's access to my bank account, and now he's saying I'm the a-hole and taking it too far instead of trying to resolve this another way. Am I the a-hole? Your husband has shown two major marriage-risking behaviors. 1. He broke your trust by stealing from your personal account. He didn't ask you if you'd want to help the brother. He didn't use his money, and he didn't even tell you what he did on his own. He knew it was wrong and did it anyways. 2. He sicked his family on you rather than deal with the problem with you directly. Not the a-hole. I think your marriage has hit a major crisis, and this should not be swept under the rug. Don't forget this gem. My in-laws called me and said I'm an entitled a-hole to make such a big deal over $3,000 since my parents are rich, and that amount is insignificant to me. There are a couple more problems here. 1. The enabling entitlement means brother is going to be a lifelong millstone around his family's neck. There will always be something he needs that the rest of the family will mobilize themselves into gathering for him. 2. The in-laws are gold diggers. They know Opie's parents are well off. The expectations of Opie bankrolling them are and will continue to be high. Not a a-hole. Maternity leave is when you are at your most vulnerable. There is a reason most women who are having babies get asked by nurses if they have a safe home environment. Your husband just told you that A. He'll help himself to your income without your approval. B. He'll help himself to your income while you aren't earning your normal wages, isn't eating into your safety net. C. He won't let you raise issues and will walk out on you, and presumably your child, although it's not clear how long he was gone, if you take issue with his behavior. And D. He will get his family to bully you when you disagree. So Opie, is this a safe and healthy marriage? Not a a-hole. I fully believe that if you're married, you should be all in and combine your finances. However, part of that is making sure you are both on board with big layouts. What's big might be different from couple to couple. Like, I wouldn't consider $100 a big amount, but a couple living from paycheck to paycheck probably would. But I think $3,000 would qualify unless you're multi-millionaires. So he used a large chunk of money without you both agreeing, and for what I consider a stupid purpose since brother-in-law just didn't want to use his own money. He took the money from Opie's savings account. It wasn't his money to lend. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for fighting to gain my handicap-accessible house from my ex and her disabled daughter? I, 32 male, recently divorced my ex, 33 female, due to our coffee preferences. Despite having a solid marriage contract about property and finances, the court outright ignored it and awarded my family home to my ex. It's a 5-bedroom house, and I lived and maintained that, and I had modified for my then stepdaughter 16, who has a walking disability. Sure, I can afford to buy and build a house if I so desired, but I got that house from my father, who got it from his father. My parents are not alive, and I am an only child, so the house holds a sentimental value. Well, I lawyered up, fought in the superior court and won. And now ex and her daughter have to leave because they cannot afford the legal fees. And I am not willing to go into any settlement now that I know the kind of person I was up against. Problem is, my friends, extended family, and people who know about our family situation. They are calling me the bad guy for putting the daughter in a bad situation. Yes, our country does suck at making places accessible, and my house was the one comfortable place she could be at. I could give that house and make a new one or buy one, but because of the sentimental value attached to the house, I was unwilling. They doubled down that I offered no financial assistance to my spouse out of obligation for being a man. They're all giving moral arguments instead of legal ones, and I for one do not see myself at fault. Now the ex is uploading videos of her daughter on how terrible a place she has to live in. Now that I stole my house, I feel conflicted. Edit. The coffee preference is a joke about how I do not like male genitals in my coffee. That is cheating. Not a a-hole. It's your house. It belongs in your family. You did it up for your ex-stepdaughter, which was already an amazing thing you did. But they are not a part of your family anymore, and you have no obligation to help. As heartless as people may find that statement, it's true. Anyone who calls you an a-hole is welcome to help pay to do up your ex's new house to make it more accessible for their daughter. Morally and legally, it's your house. It's a family home passed down by your parents, not your ex's parents. It's legally and morally your home. Even the appellate courts agreed that the lower courts erred in their initial judgment. Also, on the moral side, if he was in a good relationship with a stepdaughter, I could maybe encourage him to think about dropping some financial help to make their new place more accessible. If I divorced and loved my ex-stepkid erased for years, I would, but not on these conditions. The ex-stepdaughter sided with her mother to try and steal his house. She is participating in the online slandering. This is no good. She clearly doesn't care the slightest about Opie, and so I think it's better they all just part ways. I know children can be swayed by their parents, but she is old enough to have a sense of right and wrong. You guys were only married for a few years, not stay home. They had no reasonable expectation to keep the house when it's been in your family for generations, and you guys were together for a short time. I would suggest that maybe you could provide some money that could go directly to building ramps and such for the daughter in the place they're in now. You don't have to outfit the whole place, but maybe help make some modifications. Yes, I was thinking this. I don't think Opie's the a-hole, but from what I read, I didn't see any opinions or bad attitude from the daughter and is innocent in this. Could be wrong. If you have any feelings for her being your stepdaughter, it could mean a lot to her. She may be feeling bad, ashamed and like an inconvenience because she may think this is all her fault. Her disability is causing what is probably a nightmare for her. It's you. It's totally you. Hopefully your moneyed feelings for your house are there for you when no one else wants to be. You admit you could afford to just buy another house, which leads me to ask, why didn't you do that and charge your ex rent? You both would have won, and you would have a clear conscience in your twilight years. But you didn't. Ex aside, you essentially left a disabled person in the snow. Why should Opie spend money to buy a new house and let someone who cheated on him and lied in court live in one he already had? Also, if it did that, it will probably ended with the ex making more claims to the house. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother that his recent breakup was his fault? Despite having a good job, my brother is cheap. A few years ago, he bought a fixer-upper for a reduced price. It was a complete mess, but he moved in and said he would fix it up himself. The house needs more than a few repairs and some paint, and my brother has no renovation experience or skills. The house has no basement stairs. When the hot water tank broke, he couldn't find anyone to fix it because there was no way to get a person and their tools down the rickety ladder. He hasn't had hot water for over 2 years. None of the rooms have doors. The kitchen has no sink. Only one room is painted, and it looks like a 5-year-old did it, and the attic isn't sealed. He uses rainwater to shower and wash his clothes. He has an outhouse in his yard. The house has a functional shower and toilet, but even if he had hot water, he doesn't want to run up his bill. He reuses floss and whatever food he doesn't grow himself. He gets from dumpsters outside restaurants or from the dollar store when it's close to expired. His wardrobe is falling apart because he won't buy new clothing. He refuses to have an air conditioner, and we have many days when it's over 100 degrees and his house gets unbearable. He was engaged, but I don't think she realized the extent until they moved in together. She didn't want a huge white wedding, but my brother wanted to barter to get the license fee paid and didn't want to spend anything on the wedding. His plan was to have a friend get ordained and get married in his yard in clothes they already had and not feed anyone. Just send them home after the vows. No photos besides cell phones once taken by the guests. He wouldn't even entertain the idea of having a barbecue because he said it was too expensive. For her birthday, he got her dad flowers he stole from a funeral home and takeout he got from a dumpster. They only lived together for 3 months before she left. Our parents say it isn't his fault, and his girlfriend wanted material things instead of loving him like he is, and they are blaming her. When he complained to me, he expected me to agree. I said it's not materialistic to want to use electricity instead of flashlights, or use an indoor bathroom or eat food that wasn't from a dumpster. I also said it was insulting to expect people to come to your wedding and act as unpaid photographers, and not even feed them. I said the breakup was his fault, not hers. Now he's not talking to me, and our parents expect me to apologize for upsetting him. I refuse to apologize because I believe he is wrong and they are enabling him. I don't think there is anything wrong with being frugal, but my brother is on a different planet. My parents won't stop insisting I'm wrong for mistreating my brother. Should I have just agreed when he complained about the breakup? Tell me, was I wrong for giving an honest opinion? Not stay home. It sounds like your brother has some mental health issues. Nope, there are people like this. Look up extreme cheapskates. If you are in the US, it used to come on TLC. Dumpster divers, eating others' leftovers out of the fridge, begging others for their scraps at restaurants, cooking in the dishwasher, using the pool to wash dishes / clothes or the kids, using tuna cat food instead of tuna for human consumption. There also come cheapskates on live free or die. They live off the grid primarily the lower US states. They barter, forge, and live on the fringes. Opie's brother is one of these folks. Yes, it is his fault. He needs to be upfront and honest with any future partner. It's not materialistic to want hot water, inside plumbing and electricity. It's not the 1850s frontier. Not stay home. Even living like he is, he's still golden. Tell mom and dad to move in with him since they support him so much. His ex must have really wanted to get married to stay as long as she did. Not stay home. She's not materialistic. She wants common things like hot water and the ability to go into the basement or food that's not from the dumpster. That's unsafe and hazardous. Who would be okay with living like that? That's unacceptable. You're right, Opie. Weird that their definition of materialistic seems to be doesn't want to live in their own filth. Not stay home. There's cheap and thrifty, but this is something else. He needs help. Yep, there's a huge difference between being frugal / thrifty and being miserly. Frugal is not willing to spend $100 for a t-shirt, but will go to a thrift store and pick a good quality t-shirt, and occasionally splurge on something personal like an annual cruise, buying mostly affordable things without significantly compromising on quality and safety. Miserly is the brother who will do anything and everything to save a penny, like waiting until clothes become hole-ridden rags before buying a cheap and poor quality $3 t-shirt, and other things despite significant inconvenience in sacrificing personal comfort and safety.